Imagine waking up in the middle of the night to discover that something has completely destroyed your home. Imagine finding tracks of something you've never seen before, claw marks that make no sense, and a feeling that you're being watched by invisible eyes in the darkness. This isn't fiction. This is happening right now in Mongolia, and what authorities discovered will make you question everything you think you know about the world's most dangerous predators. In October 2018, something began terrorizing entire communities in northern Mongolia. And what happened next will keep you awake tonight. It was a cold October night when the first reports reached authorities in Darkhan-Ul province. Traditional herder families who had lived on these remote lands for generations called the police desperately with a story that seemed impossible. Their traditional homes, the famous Mongolian gers, were being systematically destroyed by something enormous and furious. These weren't robberies. This wasn't vandalism. This was something far more sinister. The marks left behind were terrifying. Wooden structures shattered like toothpicks, fabrics torn with supernatural force, and enormous footprints that no one could identify. The most frightening part? There were no corpses. There was no blood. Just pure destruction and a pattern suggesting the creature was searching for something specific: food. For 2 straight days, environmental officers scoured the Yargate Mountains, following tracks that seemed to come from another world. And then, just as it appeared, the creature simply vanished, returning to the forests like a ghost. But the real tragedy happened a year later, in October 2019. This time, in Selenge province, practically the same area as the previous year's incidents. A herder family was going about their normal routine when the unthinkable happened. A 55-year-old father and his 8-year-old son were brutally attacked by something authorities described as an uncontrolled force of nature. When police arrived at the scene, they found something veteran officers said they had never seen before. The father's body was mutilated in a way that suggested a predator of extraordinary size, with enough strength to break bones like dry twigs. But the worst was yet to come. The boy had completely disappeared. For hours, rescue teams searched the area, fearing they would find a terrified child hiding somewhere. When they finally found the child's body, the reality became inescapable. They were dealing with a predator that didn't just kill, but saw humans as legitimate prey. Panic spread. Armed 24-hour patrols were established in 5 different districts of the province. Entire families abandoned their homes. And the question everyone was asking was, what kind of creature could do this? The investigations revealed something no one expected. The forensic analysis, the attack patterns, the tracks left behind, everything pointed to an impossible conclusion. The attacks weren't caused by wolves. They weren't caused by big cats. They weren't caused by any predator that should exist in that region. They were caused by something much larger, much stronger, and much more intelligent than anything the Mongolians had ever faced before. And here's what will make you stop everything you're doing. If you're enjoying this investigation that will change your perspective on predators, subscribe to the channel now, because what I'm about to reveal next will completely shock you. Let's discover together what this mysterious creature is. The attacks were caused by bears, but not just any kind of bears. In the 2018 case, the creature was reported as a brown bear. In the fatal 2019 attack, it was reported as a Siberian black bear. Now you're probably thinking, bears? What's the big deal? But here's what authorities didn't tell international media, which will make you understand why this is absolutely improbable. There are no brown bears or black bears living in these regions of Mongolia. The natural distribution of these species is thousands of miles away. It simply doesn't make biological sense. Let's start by analyzing the most likely case, the 2019 Siberian black bear. Authorities suggested these bears could have migrated from Russia due to wildfires and food scarcity. In theory, this is possible. Siberian black bears weigh between 88 and 440 pounds, have enough strength to easily break human bones, and are known to be more aggressive than other types of bears when they feel threatened. But here's the problem. Even coming from the nearest Russian border, these bears would have had to walk over 600 miles through hostile terrain, cross multiple territories, and survive in an environment completely different from their natural habitat. Is it possible? Technically, yes. Is it likely? That's much more questionable. Bears are extremely territorial animals. The idea of a Siberian bear abandoning its territory and making an epic 600-mile journey to establish a new home is almost unprecedented in scientific literature. The 2018 case is even more bizarre. A brown bear in that region would be like finding a penguin on a volcano. The only logical explanation would be that the animal escaped from some kind of captivity. Maybe a zoo, maybe a circus, maybe some illegal collector. But there are no records of brown bear escapes from any Mongolian facility or neighboring countries during that period. This leads us to an even more intriguing possibility. What if I told you that brown bears do exist in Mongolia, but bears so rare and so unique that most people don't even know of their existence? What if I told you that these bears are possibly the most special in the entire world? Welcome to the world of gobi bears, known locally as mazalai. These are, without exaggeration, the rarest bears on planet Earth. Current estimates suggest there are only between 31 and 40 of these bears remaining in the entire world. To put this in perspective, there are more giant pandas, more Siberian tigers, and more Javan rhinos than gobi bears. They are a subspecies of brown bear that evolved specifically to survive in the Gobi Desert, one of the most hostile environments on the planet. They are the only bears in the world that evolved and adapted to live in extremely hot desert climates. Imagine a bear that can go weeks without water, that walks up to 100 miles through the desert just to find a water source, and that developed extra thick fur not to protect against cold, but to insulate against the scorching desert heat. These bears hibernate from November to March, surviving only on fat accumulated during summer, when they feed mainly on vegetation like wild rhubarb, grasses, and wild onions. Only about 1% of their diet consists of animal matter. Their claws are short, chipped, and worn down because they spend their entire lives walking on rocks and digging through stones to find roots and food. Their teeth wear down faster than other brown bears due to the abrasive nature of their diet and environment. As for size, gobi bears are considerably smaller than most other brown bears. Adult males typically weigh between 212 and 304 pounds, while females are even smaller, weighing between 112 and 172 pounds. For comparison, brown bears in other regions can easily reach 660 pounds or more. And here's the most impressive detail. They may need to travel 12 to 19 miles between one water source and another, and to go from one mountain range to the next, they may have to walk 25 to 62 miles. They have one of the smallest genetic diversities ever observed in any brown bear subspecies, being one of the smallest and most isolated brown bear populations in the world. Now the million-dollar question: could the 2018 and 2019 attacks have been caused by gobi bears? The answer is highly unlikely, but not impossible. Gobi bears live exclusively in southern Mongolia, in the Gobi Desert, over 600 miles from the attack sites. They are known for not attacking livestock. There are reports of gobi bears entering dwellings and eating feed for goats and sheep, but completely ignoring the animals themselves. But here's what's disturbing. If a gobi bear somehow made it to northern Mongolia, it would be completely out of its element, desperate, starving, and potentially much more aggressive than it would be in its natural habitat. The truth is, we'll probably never know for certain what type of bears caused these specific attacks. But what we do know is that Mongolia harbors some of the most extraordinary and rare bears in the world, living in conditions that challenge everything we think we know about how these animals can survive. Mongolia continues to be one of the last wild places in the world where mysteries like these can still happen, where creatures that shouldn't exist in certain places appear out of nowhere, and where some of the rarest animals on the planet struggle to survive in impossible conditions. If you were as fascinated by this story as I was, subscribe to the channel because I have many more wildlife mysteries that will leave you questioning everything you think you know about our planet. And since you made it this far, click on the video I left on the screen and prepare to have your mind blown once again. See you in the next video.